Hello and welcome. Now, in this particular video right here, I will show you how you can utilize the full power of Ideogram to create interestingly awesome posts based on any post online. Now, I actually was looking on Pinterest for some recipes and I stumbled upon this creator. And by the way, this is no marketing for the creator whatsoever, but it helps to actually get inspired by other creators. Now, this creator is basically, you can already see the name of the channel, but what I'm more interested in showing you is the creator's profile and how many millions of views she's actually getting. So she's getting about 10 million views every month, monthly views to her pins, which is very, very powerful. And when I looked in SimilarWeb, I actually found that this particular website is getting about 10 million website visits per month. So that's a bunch of money. So this is really a really good and inspirational channel to be inspired by. So, and basically what they do is they create these awesome pins that you see over here, and we can go ahead and replicate or create pins to this at the same quality. So the only thing that you need, if you want it, for example, to create something like this, is you'd need to copy the image. You would need an image for inspiration. And then you would need to go to Ideogram. Now, inside of Ideogram, you can actually just delete any prompt from there. And you can click Control V, in which case this is going to put the image in here. And you can actually hit the remix button. Now, in here, the text that they have used is somewhat different from what you might want to use. So, for example, here it says, seriously, the best cheesecake. You can actually change it to say something different if you want to. But if you just want a copy, not a copy, but a remix of this at a medium image weight, then you can just go with that. And I would honestly recommend that you use the realistic model and you hit the remix button. Now, what that is going to do is going to add it to the queue and it's going to immediately start working on creating the pin for you. It usually doesn't take that much time. And for us, that is good because we want the pin for interpretation. Now, previously, we have shown you how you can use Leonardo Phoenix to create some awesome Pinterest pins. But in this case, you can rely on this tool as well. And if you look at some of these pins right here, yes, they're inspired by this one, but they don't look exactly the same. So they look pretty different from this one right here. But they also have that material, which is viral material. And each time you can see that they've changed a couple of things about the pin. Now, how about changing the text? In order to change the text, you just have to click back here. And instead of the text saying what it says, you can make it say something different. So, for example, here it says, seriously, the best cheesecake. Well, you can make it say the best cheesecake or the greatest cheesecake or something like that. Or best cheesecake ever. Best cheesecake ever. Let's try that one. So, for example, if you can say best cheesecake ever, and you can remix. Now, I'm going to remix at a weight of about 40 because when you change the text, you need to lower the image weight below 50 because otherwise it's not going to work. And what this is going to do is going to start working on the remix of that. And it's going to mostly, for some of the posts, not all of them, but for some of the generations, it will change the text into what we want it to do. Now, here, for example, this one, it says best cheesecake ever, but not every other one, right? For example, this one here, it only says best cheesecake, but it could also pass, you could actually take that. And some of the other ones here, it removed the text entirely. And this one is also a pretty good one that could be pretty successful on Pinterest, right? So best cheesecake ever, you could try this one here, or you could try this one here. But the bottom line is we took something from Pinterest and we actually used it to create what you're looking at right now. Now, there's not just this post that you can actually use as inspiration. You can use pretty much anything. So, for example, here, this is about shrimp. And so you can actually copy this particular pin back to Ideogram, and you can actually click the X button right here, delete, and then you can delete whatever text is there, and you can click Control V, and then you can actually hit the remix button, right? In which case, this is going to remix it. It's going to give us a prompt that we can use. Now, over here, as you can see, this is quite good. And if you want to change the text, you can change the text here as well. Now, it says creamy, if I'm correct, which I have to be. So it says creamy shrimp pasta. Well, You could say something different than creamy shrimp pasta. Let me see here. Creamy shrimp pasta. Da, 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 da. Okay. Here, there is no mention to the text. So as far as the remix is concerned, it did not do a pretty good job. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in between brackets. And instead of creamy, I'm going to say well, juicy. I'm not sure if we can say that, but juicy shrimp pasta at maybe a weight of 30. Keep the realistic model and then remix. And let's see the results of this. And another thing I'd like to say is, for instance, if you click here, which this author is only creating these pins for one reason, which is to get traffic to their website. So they attach a link to their Pinterest pin. And now here they're saying that this cannot be accessed. I think maybe this is due to some reason, some strange reason here. But let me click this one and see. All right, so it's supposed to work. Like I said, if you click the pin, it should take you to the link on the website. Now, here, this article is called A Perfect Cheesecake Recipe. So she's basically trying to get some traffic for this particular article. And now, looking at this at first sight, I think that this person is definitely not using AI whatsoever. So she's definitely real about everything she does. She's really putting a lot of work into it. And it's so clear to me that she's putting a lot of work into it. So since she's cooking everything, and even the video itself, she seems to be making her own videos, showcasing to people how this is done. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to do that, okay? So you don't necessarily have to show stuff like this, because you can use AI to create these images, and we do, right? We use AI to create these images of cheesecakes and even recipes of the cheesecake and what is required. AI can do all of the above. So you can use that if you don't have the capacity or kitchen to cook everything. So, but the reason why I've shown you this article is, with these pins, you can start getting traffic. And if in your website, anywhere you have a link or a pop-up that collects people's email addresses, like in this case, I'm sure that she's giving a cookbook at some point in some point of the article. Maybe if they scroll down a little bit here, they'll find a form that they can fill to get a cookbook or something. That would be smart to do. But if you want to write an article yourself about how to create a cheesecake such as this, well, you can just go to ChatGPT and you can actually ask it so, right? And it will do a pretty optimized job of that. So you can ask ChatGPT, well, write an article, a complete article on how to craft a cheesecake, right? So, and we can say that. So you can say, write a complete article on how to cook or to craft a cheesecake, right? And so if I hit the send button, it will go ahead and start writing it, and then you can use that and put it on your blog. And I've shown you how to create a blog. Now, for example, this website here has been built using WordPress plugins, and so it's not the same as the website we have. So if you want to build a website such as this, do not really feel very, let's just say, do not feel that this is incredibly difficult, because with the help of WordPress, everything now is easy, right? Even if you're not a developer, it's not 100% easy peasy that you can do it in 1 minute. But if you use, for instance, in here, I'm pretty sure she's using these things. So I have this website, it's called WP Theme Detector. And if you put the URL of any website, it can actually go ahead and start spying on that website. So it can find you the plugins that the website is using, as well as the theme that the website is using. So for instance here, it seems that she's using as a plugin or a theme, in this case, let's call it a theme. She's using WP Recipe Maker Premium, right? I think there is a free version and there's a pro version. And she's using all of these plugins, which are WordPress plugins. Some of them are for protection from viruses, from spam. Some of them are for two-factor authentication, which you can expect from a website of such nature. And WP Rocket, of course, to actually make the website extremely fast, because in order to speed up the website, you need a plugin like WP Rocket. It costs $49 a year, I guess. And you can use it to speed up your website. If you have a website that gets a lot of traffic, you need to do that, because you get a lot of traffic, the website goes slow. It's a WordPress website. It's hosted on a hosting. So it's probably, even if you purchase the highest or the most expensive hosting out there, you're still going to find problems if you don't have a plugin that speeds up your website for people, because it's all about customer experience and it's all about making people feel that this is a good website and this is a good experience. And so that theme is what gives the look to the website. What gives it this look that you're looking at here. The theme is what gives it the look. Okay, and so you can find those things out, but you don't really have to create a website as complicated as this if you don't want to, because you can, in my opinion, you can just use the website. As of now, you can use the AI website. But if you want to jump into something a little bit more complex, then you can use the theme that she's using, and pretty straightforward. You'll find a lot of videos on YouTube, particularly, that will teach you from the ground up how you can use that theme to create a website, pretty much similar to the website that she owns. So creating the website is not the difficult part. The difficult part is actually creating all these pins that she managed to create. And if we go back to Ideogram, for instance, our latest, actually something went wrong here, so I'll have to refresh, but Ideogram really makes it easy for you to create the pins, right? ChatGPT makes it easy for you to write the posts, to write the copy. So it's just up to you. I mean, if I was you, for example, and I wanted to be successful in the niche food, and I wanted to get some traffic, I would study a person such as this. I would study their pins. Now, they have a lot of pins. To be honest with you, she has a lot of pins, right? In this case, 124,000 just in this one. Now, not all of them have to be hers. If you look at the created ones, you can see the ones that she created. These are the ones that she has created herself, right? And you can get inspired by her, and you can get inspired by the pins that she has created, and even create pins that are similar, and even create articles for your website that are similar, and even go as far as creating Facebook posts like about this on your Facebook page. And you can use the combination of Pinterest and Facebook to get traffic to your website. All right, so we have some posts here. Well, they actually look pretty good. And well, we can actually even maybe raise the image weight a little bit here, because some of the results didn't really come out exactly the same as what they look like here. But remember that you can use Canva, and in Canva you can do things that are pretty interesting. So for example, you can take an image of your liking, like this one, for example. You can copy it into Canva. And if you want to add the text that you want to add in exactly the same font that you want to add, now you can use Canva to create it. Now let me go back to canva.com. I'm going to create a design. This will be a pin, so I'm going to go to the For You designs. Now this is a 9x16, so I'll have to actually go for a 9x16 design by just looking for Pinterest, a Pinterest pin. I'll definitely find out Pinterest pin. There it is. It's 9x16, so it's 1080 by 1920, and it's exactly the size that we need. And so right here, I will just click on the Control-V button to paste this, and in there I can edit it. So I can actually add any edits that I want. So I can say juicy shrimp pasta if it fails, or if Ideogram fails, which in this case it did fail. So if in your case it fails to put the text exactly like you want it to, you can always go back, copy the image, and go to Canva and edit it according to your liking. So if you paste an image to Canva, then you can actually resize it. I pasted it twice, I guess. So you can resize it. Now, because this is the same size, I could actually just make it set it up as the background image, but I'm just going to make it bigger. I think this should be a 9x16, but it seems that it's not exactly that. So let me just do something like this, and then I can go to the text options, and I can add a heading, and then I'll just leave that heading there for now. But I can just put some text in it. For example, juicy shrimp, and then in the other line I could put pasta, all caps lock for pasta, for example. I could make it bigger, and you could put it here in the center of the screen. And you can actually go to the elements. In Canva, you have elements. And these elements are things like this, for example, like a shape. You could grab a shape like this. And that shape, well, you can keep it red if you want. I think the red color is a pretty good match. And you can actually spread it nicely like this, and then position it to the back and then forward. And then you can see that now we can see the text. But what we want is this pasta to actually be a little bit bigger. And actually, what I want is I'll probably cut it, and add it as a text of its own. But first, I'll have to change the color of this text to being white, like this. I could just increase the size of it just to kind of fit the screen a bit. And I could take this, maybe grow it a little bit, maybe drag this a little bit down for some space. This one as well. I could click the image in the back and lock it. And then I could duplicate this, and then I'll place pasta. And now I can play with this, the size of this text alone. And you can see that now this makes a lot of sense. Right? Juicy shrimp pasta. If you want as well, you can play with the spacing of the letters. So you can actually add more spacing to kind of make it spread a little nicely like that. Juicy shrimp pasta. And there you go. Now this red is, I think, is not the full red. It's not entirely. It actually is. So, but you can see that you can actually edit this like so, and you can just download it. If Ideogram fails at times to put the text exactly like you want it, which it does, like I said, at times. It doesn't do it all the time, but it does at times. Sometimes it gives you exactly what you need. For example, this one is a pretty good one to go. Juicy shrimp pasta. It's pretty good to go. You can take it like this. But if you want to center your text, you can just use some basic Canva skills, and you can do it yourself instead of relying on Ideogram. And so that's the bottom line here. I hope that you've learned something from this tactic, and that you can go ahead and use this to blow traffic to your website and really get a lot of traffic. Get a huge traffic to your website. This is really mind-blowing stuff. I really love to teach these techniques. Now, one of the things as well that you might want to consider is maybe bringing this down to the bottom. That is also something you could be interested to do. Or you can make sure 100% that this is centered, right? Center, like this. Right, but that's about it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. And I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you soon. Right, Passive Income Gen Z, wishing you the best and signing out.